Hey guys, welcome back. I'm going to put in this little edit because I can't remember to say this in my actual videos, but I am trying to get to 500 subs. I'm at 400, and if you like this content, you like my videos, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and I'd appreciate a sub. So if you like it, throw me a sub. I'd really appreciate it. But with that, let's get to the video. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. So I played an endgame tonight. And as you could see, I go into this endgame up plus 2 pawns. So I am winning. This is a winning endgame. But how do you win it? How do you win it? Right? So what do you do here to try to win this endgame? Because just because you're plus 2 pawns and the evaluation says you're winning, you still have to win it. So how do you do it? All right. So this is where we start out. I was up 3 pawns. I lost another pawn. And this is the position that we find ourselves. So it's a 2 on 3 over here. But my 3 is not exactly healthy. And you've got a 2 on 3 over here on the other side. So how did I convert this position? Spoiler alert, I converted it. So how do you convert it? So first of all, I play this. And I didn't play this perfect. I didn't play this perfectly, but I'm going to explain why I made this move. So this move is aimed at keeping the king from getting over here to these pawns. Okay? So I have a majority over here. So hopefully my pawns can keep themselves okay, because I want to go to the other side where my healthy majority is at and try to win over here. All right. So, and you know, maybe I go over here, I come around, and that is ultimately what I do. But I want to get my rook over here because I do not want the king to be able to get over here. So I'm going to try to make it a little bit more difficult. All right. So he plays this, and I do hit the pawns, the back of these pawns. And he comes around. Or I'm sorry, he plays down, so he's defending this pawn, and I come over. Now again, this isn't perfect, but I think this could be instructive. So I come around, and I hit the back of these pawns again. Now, he advances the pawn, right, and I take. Because when he advances this pawn, he exposes the defense of the a5 pawn with his rook. But I take, and he takes. Okay, so now I hit the back of this pawn. Again, none of this is perfect. But I hit the back of this pawn, and he comes over. All right, I take it. But he takes this pawn. So I had a plus 1 pawn majority, right? It was a 3 on 2. Now it's a 1 on 0. So we traded pawns, and now, you know, because we traded 1 for 1, 1 for 1, right? That leaves me plus 1 because I had a 1 pawn majority, all right? So this is a plus 3 advantage, it says. So now how do you win? Bring the king. Bring the king. Now I'm going to cut his king off. I do not want his king to be able to get over here. So I come over. He brings the rook back. And now I play this move. So the king cannot come over past this line. Okay. He plays over attacking. And I step over. Now my king is connected with this passed pawn. This is important. You need your king to be active in the endgame. So where is the activity at? It's over here. The game is going to be won or lost by this pawn. His king cannot get over here because my rook controls the c-file. So I connect the king with the pawn. That's a big advantage for me. He can't get his king over to help, so I have a rook, a pawn, and a king versus just a rook. So I really don't understand this move. I don't know why it's the best, because you're just not going to get over here. So I advance the pawn. I push the pawn. The king steps over. Okay. And now I get with this passed pawn. I connect with the pawn here. Because you see, if I push forward, I drop the pawn, and the king controls these squares. So I get behind the passed pawn. I'm going to now use my king to help push this up the board. His king can't get over to stop it, but mine's already here. And because my rook is on the c file, the king can never cross it. He could cross it, but if he does, I also have this majority over here, and your king's going to end up way over here, and right. So, all right. So he shuffles. He decides to go back, and now I play this. Computer says the best move is this, but there's no way that I'm going to disconnect from this pawn and allow his king into this game. So he pushes. Irrelevant. Doesn't matter. Because if you get here, I'm just going to take it. All right? So I push. The name of the game, push you past pawns. If you've seen any of the videos or any of the stuff that I've done talking about end games, I say that 5,000 times a video. If you are playing an end game and you have a passed pawn, your passed pawn is only worth anything if you're pushing it. And the farther that it gets down the board, the more pressure is on your opponent to stop it. So I'm going to push it. All right. The difference here is 0.2. So he comes down. Again, this, whatever he's doing over here, it doesn't matter. Because like I said, the game is going to be won or lost by this pawn. And his king can never get over here. Because my king is in contact with this pawn, I can move this rook anywhere along the c file, and this pawn is still going to be protected by the king. So that was why it was important for me to get over here with this, with this pawn. So I push. Now, the computer says the best move here is to force this exchange. So check, takes. He plays this, I play this. Then he gets back here. I don't know. That's a little bit messier than I would want. So I play this. It was it's a big loss of advantage. But the idea is still the same. How are you going to stop this pawn? That's the, So he comes back. What else are you going to do? Right? So I push the pawn. Okay? You have to stop it. He plays check. And I play over. Okay? Now, since he is back here, right? Since he's back here, I play this. Now, this is inaccurate. But if, what it wants me to do, I guess, is to play this. But, after something like this, what here? B3 check. A7. Yeah, I don't know. That's not how I played it. All right. So this is the idea. I play here. Because my rook is here, he does not have any checks now to annoy this king. There's no checks. So my king is now protected, right, from the checks. You can't check me away from the pawn. Right, and then come back for it. So my king is going to be able to stay in contact with this pawn the rest of the way down the board. And I know it's inaccurate, and this move is not the best move. This move doesn't hurt you much, but it doesn't help. I think it helps. I'm not perfect at end games, but this is the idea. Again, you can't get back here and check me. So how do you get my king away from this pawn? He plays here, right? And I play this. And now, if your king is on the 2nd or 7th rank, that's what you call rolling out the red carpet. That's what I call it. I seen Amon Hamilton say that, so I stole it. So the idea is the king controls these 3 squares. So, for example, if his king was here, right? If the king was here, I could promote this pawn because the king cannot step in to check for my king, right? The same is true with these pieces. My king is here, so these 3 squares are kind of the runway, right? So now that I'm here, okay, the rook's here, He can't check me. And my king defends these 3 squares. So what do you do here? How do you stop this as black? It says to push your pawn over here. But you're going to have to give up your rook now for this pawn. It doesn't matter what you do. You're giving up that rook for my pawn. All right, so let's go all the way back. Let's go all the way back. Let's go all the way back to here. Okay? So I play this. He pushes, takes. I play this. He steps over. I take, and he takes. So the 3-on-2 pawn majority has now liquidated to a 1-on-0. So I had a +1 majority. I still have a +1 majority. He just has no opposing pawns. Okay? So bring the king. Cut his king off. This is textbook how I'm, or my textbook. If I wrote a book, this is how I'd write it. I mean, cut the king off. Keep the king from getting involved in whatever's going on over here. Connect my king with the pawn. And from this point, you push. You connect. You push. And again, he's going to have, you got to move or lose the rook. He moves. I start pushing the pawn. And this part right here is what, I got an ant on my monitor. Get out of here, dude. What are you doing? So this little maneuver here, right? It says this is inaccurate. I don't know how this could be inaccurate, but this is important. Because what your opponent's going to do here is they're going to try to check you and all this, and then get to this pawn. But because your rook is here, when he plays down, I know what's coming, right? So I play here. I play here. And now he doesn't have a check, and you can't stop me from getting to this square and rolling out the red carpet. So he gets back, and there's the red carpet. King guards these squares. Your rook cannot get in here to interfere with this, or I'm going to take it. Your king can't get in here, and it's over from here. It's just, from this point, it's over. If you want to see the checkmate pattern, we're already doing an endgame video, so I'll just go ahead and show you. So I went ahead and gobbled up these last couple of pawns here, just to make this easier. So king comes over, right? We get out of his way. He goes to the back rank. We stick him to the back rank. And I play this move. And the idea is I need my king to be here. So the rook cuts off the king on the back rank. And I need my king here on the 6th. Okay? So that I play that. The king comes around to the other side of the rook. So now my king is on the 6th. My rook is on the 7th. That's the ideal setup. When he pushes, when he steps back, I get away from him because I need my king to be in opposition to him, and it needs to be my turn to move. So we need to be in opposition. We need him to step into opposition. All right? So I step away from him, and I burn a move, right? Because now if he plays here, that's checkmate. So it forces him to go this direction. And now I'm just going to follow him. You just follow him. And now, once he gets to this square, that's forced. That's the only move that he has. He cannot step up because my king, and he can't slide diagonal because he only moves one square. So he has to come back. And when he comes back, my king controls this square, and this square. So the king's not able to step forward. Rook back to the 8th rank is checkmate. All right. So remember when you're playing these positions, here, this move here, cuts the king off so he can never get involved with this pawn. This is a very helpful little deal here, all right? Getting your rook in a position to cut off the enemy king is important because now the rook is all on his own, stopping this pawn, all right? So we're pushing. We're getting in contact with the pawn. We're going to push. Okay? And this here. I know the computer says it's inaccurate. But the point is that we're going to get to this square. roll out the red carpet, and there's no checks for him to try to push me away from this pawn. Because, you get over here, it's a check, I got to go back, I play this, and then he's, got me in some kind of, check pattern where he doesn't let me, But with this kind of configuration, you have safe harbor for your king. There are no checks. I play this, there's not a check in this position. One does not exist. You play back, I push, doesn't matter what you do now. I promote, which I don't know why in the world I would play rook to c5. That's beyond me. But I play that, I promote, now I'm up a rook, and from here it's just a wrap, So anyway, I hope you guys found that instructive. Hope you guys learned a little something about the end game. Like I said before, in all my videos, the end game is my favorite part of the game because you get a lot of these little ideas like this, And if your opponent doesn't know this stuff, you're right. If they haven't studied it or whatever, or you're just better at it, if you've put in the time and you know these little ideas, it's going to be a big help. It's going to be a big help to you. How to convert, your 3-on-2 or your 2-on-1. How do you liquidate that into a 1-on-0, and now you've got a passed pawn. And then once you have your passed pawn, what's the technique to actually make that, a queen? Because once you get this to be a queen, he has to sack. It's over. You have to sack. And once you do, now that 3-on-2 turns into a 1-on-0. Then that 1-on-0 turns into a rook on 2 pawns endgame, right? That's what you're trying to do. So anyway, like I said, I hope you guys learned something. If you like that, like, comment, subscribe, all the things. We'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys.